it is only platinum. People talk about platinum, and I know increasingly so maybe palladium is coming into that discussion, but still overwhelmingly people may be focusing on that platinum, the headline platinum price, which has been coming down, especially in dollars. Is there something to be said for the rest of the PGM complex?
Well, that's a great question, and I'll answer your question, and I'll talk to you what I think might be a more interesting angle. I think the one way to look at this is to step back and look at how are platinum companies performing, and the answer is extremely badly.
Yep.
I suppose Anglo Platinum is sitting relatively pretty with Mogalakwena. The large open pit operation, which is relatively economic. I mean, the thing to understand is on the supply side, if you look at the cost curve, when I say cost curve, does that bring a picture to mind, or do I need to?
Yeah, no. I'm aware. Yeah, I mean, we can talk about supply. It's relatively flat. I know that 70% of the production of platinum, and probably similar for PGM, or I don't know, is South African produced. There's three or four big players there, and they have been not in good shape for a number of years. They've been trying to push through restructurings. Some of these mines have been burning incredible amounts of cash. They can be labor intensive, especially the old ones. And there have been a couple of restructuring initiatives that have been announced recently. Well, not just recently, but also recently. And I'm very interested in those. That's sort of the picture that I have.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And if you look at the platinum mining tends to split into the kind of stuff they would do around Rustenburg. So the typical conventional standard mining, where you're going underground in a roughly 800 millimeter wide reef, where you're chasing 3 grams per ton or sort of or less PGM as you follow that down a typically 15-degree incline down this tabular reef, and that's a description of a very labor intensive mining approach, where everybody's costs are kind of similar and they're all very high. Right? So if you look at the cost curve, on the South African piece of that cost curve, over half of the people on the right side of the curve, they've all got horrible high costs because they're doing that kind of very expensive manual mining. There's a few players like Bafokeng, who've got relatively high grade resources still, Styldrift and elsewhere. And particularly there's Mogalakwena in South Africa, which is a very large open pit.
That's the northern one.
American. That's right, in the northern
limb.
Part of the resource. Yeah, exactly. That's right. So compared to the eastern and western limb, northern limb is a very different thing, and the shape of that lends itself to open cut mining. And their costs per PGM ounce are radically lower than for the traditional underground labor-intensive mining. So what it means is that aside from the Mogalakwena, this is an industry that's broken, and it's an industry who put on all of the productive capacity, expecting the demand side that was going to be radically better than it actually is. So if you go back and look at what John Samathi and others were sort of thinking might be the future, if you go back sort of 10 years or even look at Anglo American Platinum's own strategic sort of expectations back in the early 2000s, and this is public domain, so they would have put this out into their investor relations material. Anglo American Platinum were looking. They had a strategy of 3.5 billion ounces by what it was now in 2001. They said this would be by 2005 or something, which is obviously completely mad, in hindsight. And part of the madness was people didn't understand the very important point we made at the beginning around in diesel catalysis. it's not going to stay 100% flat, then actually a third of that's going to move to palladium. Whoops.